Blade of Revenge, Part 2. The scene starts with a discussion between the club owner and the main villain, Yoon Sang-tae. Yoon suggests a cruel idea to threaten the protagonist's mother, who is alone in the hospital. Acting on this plan, the club owner visits the hospital and hands a gift to the caregiver. Once he gets the patient alone, he threatens her, showing a fake debt document that claims she owes a huge amount. He further insults her deceased daughter, calling her a prostitute. Shocked beyond endurance, the mother dies on the spot. The next day, the protagonist receives a devastating phone call. His mother has passed away. At the funeral, the caregiver reveals that the death was unnatural. A man had visited her before she died. Suddenly, a group of debt collectors arrives demanding repayment. They claim the protagonist's sister borrowed money, and on top of that, their house burned down in an accident. The protagonist, suppressing his rage, tells them he will pay by tomorrow at 12 p.m. The loan sharks leave after giving him their address. The next day, at exactly 12 p.m., the protagonist arrives at their hideout, alone. Armed with a wooden sword, he charges at them. He slashes through their hands and necks, swiftly taking them down one by one. Surrounded, he smashes one attacker's forehead, then another's chin and neck, overwhelming them in mere moments. The gang leader, terrified, begs for mercy. Amidst this, the protagonist learns that the club owner was the one who visited his mother in the hospital. Distracted for a moment, the gang leader attempts a sneak attack, but the protagonist beats him to death, committing his first murder. The following day, he visits an old prison acquaintance and shares his pain. His mother is gone, his house burned, and he has no one left. His only goal now, revenge against Yoon Sang-tae. To start anew, he takes a job as the manager of a small bar. But soon, the bar is shut down unexpectedly. Other employees explain that this happens often. Yoon's subordinates demand protection fees, and when owners refuse, they are forced to close. That night, after everyone leaves, the protagonist reopens the bar alone, waiting for Yoon's men. Word reaches Yoon and the club owner that someone is defying them. Enraged, Yoon orders one of his gangs to attack the bar. A group of 20 men enters and finds a new face, the protagonist. Without hesitation, he swings his wooden sword like a real blade, cutting through his enemies with ruthless precision. The entire gang is defeated, including their leader. The bar owner, returning to the wreckage, warns the protagonist that his actions will start a war. But the protagonist remains unfazed, declaring, "When it comes to swordsmanship, I have stood at the top of this world." The bar owner then reveals Yoon's rise to power. Years ago, 2 criminal organizations ruled Korea. Yoon was just a rookie in the Golden Circle, which controlled 17 gangs. He killed his own gang leader, took over, and over time, conquered 14 out of 17 gangs. Only 3 independent gangs remain. Back to the present, Yoon sends another gang after the protagonist. Instead of waiting, the protagonist invades their headquarters alone, mercilessly eliminating everyone using a golf club. The gang leader rushes toward the chaos, only to witness his entire crew massacred. Meanwhile, another group is attacking the bar owner. Outnumbered and wounded, the bar owner is on the brink of death. Suddenly, a loud crash at the entrance. The protagonist storms in, wielding an iron pipe. He tears through the attackers effortlessly. Watching in shock, the bar owner realizes this man is a monster. An old friend of the bar owner arrives, surveying the corpses. He approaches the protagonist, revealing that they share a common enemy. He convinces him to join forces. Elsewhere, Yoon speaks to Won, the gang leader who was previously defeated with a golf club. Yoon orders him to act as a spy and infiltrate the protagonist's group. Meanwhile, a white-haired old man, leader of one of the last 3 independent gangs, receives a message from Yoon requesting a meeting in 3 days. The protagonist also attends. Being young, he is mocked and told to guard the exit. Suddenly, Yoon arrives alone and slaughters everyone in the meeting. He swiftly kills the enemy gang's strongest fighter, then brutally rips out the gang leader's throat. His subordinates arrive, but an injured man flees toward the exit. There, he meets the protagonist, who starts killing everyone in sight. He strikes heads, shoulders, and necks in rapid succession. Meanwhile, Yoon meets with the Golden Trade Company owner, the ultimate boss of all 17 gangs. The boss warns him, "You are a wolf in sheep's clothing, more dangerous than anyone realizes." Yoon calls his men for a status update, but the protagonist answers the phone. He delivers a chilling threat, "I will kill you." The entire room falls silent. This is the first direct confrontation